What's up, guys? AB here from B&H. Today we're taking a look, finally, at Nord's new Electro 6 synthesizer. Now, there are actually three models. We were lucky enough to get the 6D73, which has a 73-key, semi-weighted waterfall keybed with physical drawbars that are used for the organ section. There's also a 61-key version, which is pretty much identical to this one, but it has fewer keys. And there's lastly the 6HP, which is another 73-key version, which has a hammer action style keybed and digital drawbars for the organ section. But under the hood, you're looking at the same keyboard. And it's kind of cool because Nord has taken the best of their electromechanical sounds and their acoustic sounds and really combined them into one form factor. So you really have no limitations with regard to sound possibilities. The other cool thing is that these are multi-timbral or multi-timbral. You say timbre, I say timbre. That means you can layer all three of the sound engines at once. So whether you're dealing with organ and piano or piano and sample synth or all three together, you can get some really cool sounds and some great combinations. You're not limited to just one. But I think it might be helpful to take a look at the keyboard from above so you can kind of see how Nord laid everything out from left to right. So why don't we do that first? Starting with the organ section, we've got 6 models to choose from. Farfisa, the Vox Continental, B3, which of course everybody knows, Pipe 1, which is an organ that has fewer harmonics than other organs, Pipe 2, which is an emulation of church organs, which means that the pipes are really metal, so you've got that really metallic sound coming out of that organ, and a B3 bass, which is just more enhanced bass features for your B3 organ. You also have a rotary control, which emulates a rotary speaker. You can choose from fast to slow, and it gives you a little bit more control over the sound coming out of the keyboard. You have octave up and octave down, of course. There's a keyboard zone. I'm gonna get to that later because all 3 sections have keyboard zones. We've got vibrato effects, chorus effects, percussion, which gives you a soft or a fast choice in terms of how you attack the transient, and we have the drawbars, which obviously affect the organs depending on which model you use. Next, we have the piano section, which is really a combination of sounds from Nord's very popular and always growing piano library. Anything from EPs to digital pianos, grand pianos, uprights, layered pianos, which are really more like 80s sounds, you can find that in this section. You also have an equalizer dedicated to the piano section. So if you want a slightly brighter sound, more of a mid-range sound, or you want to notch in some low end, you have a little bit of flexibility in terms of that kind of control. The next section we get to is the program section. This is kind of the heart of the keyboard. This is where you can select your sounds, you can store sounds, you can go into live mode, which allows you to play and tweak sounds and it'll remember those sounds. Anything you really need to do in terms of deep diving and all the nitty-gritty editing stuff would really happen in this section. Next, we come to the sample synth engine, which in my opinion is one of the coolest parts of this keyboard. Nord has provided you with 512 megabytes of space for internal samples. It comes with some preloaded samples, but you can use Nord Keyboard Manager and the software that comes with the keyboard to create your own samples off-site on your computer and then download them here and save them as templates. Last but certainly not least, we have the effects section, which can be assigned to any of the 3 sound engines. Tremolo, pan, wah, ring modulation, delay, chorus, and drive are just some of the algorithms included in this section. And you really have a lot of options when it comes to processing your sound to your liking. There's a speaker and compression section featuring authentic JC, twin, and small speaker simulations with adjustable drive, plus a separate tube drive simulation and a compressor. The reverb effects have their own dedicated panel, providing you with hall, stage, and room emulations, and a wet-dry knob to dial in just the right amount. There's even a bright mode that accentuates the high-frequency content. Underneath the reverb, you'll notice there's a panic button. It has nothing to do with the reverb itself, but in the event that you need to terminate all currently sounding notes, even those being produced by MIDI, you would hit this button. On the back of the keyboard, we have some very useful connections. In addition to the headphones jack, we have individual left and right output jacks, a control pedal jack, a monitor in jack, a MIDI in jack, a MIDI out jack, a sustain pedal jack, and a USB port. Last, we have the rotor pedal jack, which is where the optional Nord half moon switch is attached. Let's talk about some of the new features on the Nord Electro 6. One of the most useful ones being seamless transition. Every keyboard should have this, and what that simply means is that when you're playing a particular sound and you switch to a different sound, there's a very seamless transition to the new sound so it doesn't abruptly cut off the previous sound. So for example, if I play this chord with a B3 organ, I can switch the sound to something called Anthem Layer, and as soon as I take my hands off and play again, it'll play the new sound. The other cool thing is, if I play the chord and then I switch the sound to Anthem Layer, if I keep the chord down but start playing with my other hand, it plays the new sound. And as soon as I let go of the original chord, and play again, now they're both playing the new sound. I think that's kind of cool. So it lets you actually sort of lead into a different piece while maintaining the previous sound, just for a nice, seamless transition. Very quickly, I want to talk about the keyboard split function. Nord has made this really cool and very easy to use. Each sound engine can be assigned to either the lower part of the keyboard, the upper part of the keyboard, or both if you like. What I really like is that Nord has placed these predetermined LEDs, which kind of let you visually see where one sound might be contained versus another. So for example, with a piano sound, I can assign it to the lower keyboard like I have, right? But I've assigned this LED to show me that beyond that light, there will be no piano sound. This is a really cool visual thing, especially if you're on a dark stage. So I know that if I play from here, once I get to this C, there is no piano sound, and I'm free to assign other sounds there or extend the piano if I like. It's a simple change by just holding down the keyboard split, turning the dial, and now the piano sound can go up to this E, but not beyond. Really simple, pretty intuitive, and gives you a lot of flexibility. Related to the keyboard split function is a new function called split width. Typically on keyboards, when you're splitting the keyboard in half and you're transitioning from sound to sound, the jump to the next sound is very abrupt. So you immediately hit the next sound and that's the new sound. With this width function, you can dial in how gradual you want that transition to be. So like on most keyboards and with the default setting of this keyboard, when you go from sound to sound, it's an immediate change, right? So that's the original sound and that's the new sound. If that's what you're looking for, that is not a problem. But suppose you wanted a gradual transition. If you choose small, you can see that you still hear the original sound, but it starts to sort of transition into the new sound, and that's about 6 semitones. And if you choose the only other option, which is large, you can start a little bit lower and you'll hear this a little bit better, but pretty cool. So now you have this sound which is kind of blending in the middle, but as you get to the extreme outsides, they're very distinct. Before we wrap up, I want to talk really quickly about what comes in the box with the Electro 6. Important information about software updates, and stickers, which are always cool, and this 2-DVD Nord library set, which has tons of sounds that you can put into your computer, then transfer to your keyboard, and really increase the library of sounds that you have. Lastly, the Nord Electro Manual. Why am I talking about a manual? Because most companies don't provide a paper manual with gear like this. And I'm a guy who really likes to have a manual on hand, especially for those times when you don't have internet access and you can't figure out a certain function. A well-written manual, such as this, is really handy. The other thing is that Nord did a great job by laying out the manual in the same order the keyboard is laid out. What I mean by that is that organ, piano, program, sample synth, effects, those sections are all in order from left to right. So it's kind of easy to find your way around. There's not a whole lot of extra information you don't need, but it's really a well-written manual, and I like the fact that they included that with this keyboard. Well guys, that's it for the Nord Electro 6. If you want more information, check out bhphoto.com, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm AB. Thanks for watching. All right, cool, one more time. Yeah. Okay, we've got some software information that's just some update import, and a rotor pedal input for a rotor pedal.